Hey YouTube, what's going on? Lee4 here with another prediction video. Today I will be covering Lawrence of Arabia versus Teddy Roosevelt. I just want to get started here by saying that I'm very excited for this episode, and yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to try and fly through this pretty fast because I'm going to be doing weapons and X factors in one episode, and I don't want it to be like, 20 minutes long. So, let's get started here. Alright, so for weapons, for short range, Teddy Roosevelt has the Bowie knife, and Lawrence of Arabia has the Jambia. Alright, I'm going to give the edge here to the Bowie knife, mainly because I didn't get a lot of information on the Jambia at all. I didn't get weight, length, or anything. But it's, the Bowie knife, as far as I know, it can be up to 30 inches long, which I think is not going to be the length of Teddy Roosevelt's one, but that's just, just to show you that it can be pretty long. And also, it has the ability to be thrown. Now, I'm sure the Jambia can be thrown, but I don't think that Lawrence of Arabia will throw it. I think that Teddy Roosevelt may throw it. We saw in the Jesse James versus Al Capone episode that it was thrown, and I think it's a pretty effective throwing knife. So edge, Bowie knife. Alright, so for long range, Teddy Roosevelt has the Gatling gun, and Lawrence of Arabia has the Vickers machine gun. Now let's look at the Gatling gun. The first model used, it was used during the Civil War. I think this will be the one that he will either be using, or it'll be a lot like the one he'll be using. So it has the ability to fire 600 rounds a minute, so that's 100 rounds per barrel. As you know, it has 6 barrels. However, it needs to be cranked for the gun to actually work, and this will cause you probably major fatigue. It's a crew gun, so and also it has the tendency to misfire. And in the earlier models, the barrels weren't exactly in line all the time, so they had they were somewhat inaccurate of a gun. So that's the Gatling gun there. For the Vickers machine gun, the rate of fire is slightly less than the Gatling gun. I think it has like 540 rounds a minute. I think that was it, or I don't know. However, it does shoot a bigger round, slightly bigger, but I'm pretty sure it does. I did a little bit of research there. I think it does. It does it with more accuracy due to the fact that it only has one barrel, and also it does not need to be cranked. This is a very early model machine gun, but it's still a machine gun. And also it's a bit more modern than the Gatling gun, about around 50 years. It was used in World War I, whereas the Gatling gun was introduced in the Civil War, even though it wasn't really used in the Civil War. This one is very close for the edge, but I'm going to give it to the Vickers machine gun, mainly because it does not have to be cranked, and it is also more reliable. The Gatling gun is just that much older, and it did misfire a lot of times. Not misfire, get jammed, and so yeah, I'm going to give the edge to the Vickers machine gun. Alright, for medium range, Teddy Roosevelt has the Springfield 1892 to 99 model, and Lawrence of Arabia comes with the Lee Enfield. Alright, so the Springfield, it's a bolt-action rifle and has an effective range of 900 meters, and it uses a 5-round magazine. Alright, so that's not a very big magazine. The Lee Enfield is also a bolt-action rifle. It uses a larger magazine, which is 10 rounds, and this can prove to be pretty significant, like we saw in the U.S. Army Rangers versus North Korean Special Ops Force with their sniper rifles. The North Koreans had the 10-round magazine, and the Rangers had the 20, and it proved to be a pretty decisive difference. The Lee Enfield has an effective range of 503 meters, which is a lot less than the Springfield, but it has a maximum range of just under 3,000 meters. I did not get a maximum range for the Springfield, but I don't know, I think it would be somewhere around that. Yeah, so I'm going to give the edge here to the Lee Enfield, mainly due to the size of its large magazine. Just the fact that you have those extra bullets there to, help you out, that's pretty important to me. And also, it does have a faster muzzle velocity than the Springfield, and once again, it's more modern. It's it's about 20 years more modern than the Springfield. So next, let's recap on the weapons here. So for short range, Teddy Roosevelt got the edge. For long range, Lawrence of Arabia got the edge. And for medium range, Lawrence of Arabia got the edge. Let's look at X factors now. Alright, I'm only going to do 3 X factors. That's going to be logistics, fatigue, and generalship. These 3 seem to pop up a lot of the time, so I'm going to use these. I didn't use tactics because I don't really know if either of these guys were big tacticians. I'm not really sure. and I didn't really want to look into any of their battles. In fact, I don't even know if Wikipedia mentioned any battles. There's a couple with Teddy Roosevelt, but they didn't go into detail, and I didn't really check with Lawrence of Arabia. Anyway, so for logistics, I'm going to need the edge here. Teddy Roosevelt, he fought within America, which means that his supplies could come easier to him if he needed some, whereas Lawrence of Arabia fought in the Middle East, and he was a British soldier, so, you know, to get those supplies from Britain to the Middle East would have been quite a hassle, and it would have been difficult, even, like, especially since it was just World War I. So it was still pretty, you know, war wasn't fully revolutionized yet. So yeah, so for logistics, Teddy Roosevelt. For fatigue, I'm going to need the edge Lawrence of Arabia, really only because of the Gatling gun, the fact that it has to be cranked. I think they will take that into account in a big way with fatigue, so edge Lawrence of Arabia. And for generalship, this one's going to be the big one here because both these guys are generals, and they're both, you know, they're big, right? So let's look at Lawrence of Arabia here. Lawrence of Arabia was, he was able to unite the different tribes in the Middle East and start a very effective guerrilla war against the Ottoman Turks during World War I. And Teddy Roosevelt was a colonel, sorry, I don't know, I always pronounce it like colonel, but it's colonel, during the Spanish-American War, and he led his men to two victories at Kettle Hill and San Juan Hill. So yeah, it's pretty much just a brief overlook on their war efforts, I guess. And this is a very close X factor to give out. I think it's going to be, the numbers are going to be like, I don't know, like, you know, 85 to 88 or something like that. But it's going to go in favor of Teddy Roosevelt. Just mainly because he must have been some great general in order to become president afterwards. Right? So, I mean, Lawrence of Arabia, he never became Prime Minister of Britain or anything, or, you know, whatever it is in the Middle East, I don't know. Prime Minister, I think it is. But anyway, so I'm going to get the edge to Teddy Roosevelt there. So, in weapons, Lawrence of Arabia got the overall edge, and in X Factors, Teddy Roosevelt got the overall edge. And my overall edge here is going to go to Lawrence of Arabia. I think just the fact that his weapons are that much more modern, I don't think it'll make that big of a difference, but I think it will make a difference. And I don't think the Gatling gun will prove to be as superior as it seems to be. It's not like, you know, a minigun. You know, those, you know, really awesome miniguns that can shoot like 6,000 rounds a minute, and this one's not anywhere as good as that. And I think the Vickers machine gun will prove to be a lot more effective. And seeing that those are going to be their two main weapons, obviously, I think that'll come into play big time. I don't think the knives or the rifles make that big of a difference. It'll all come down to the machine guns, and I think Lawrence of Arabia has it there, so I think he's going to win. And, you know, like usual, both these guys are great generals, so that X factor won't be very significant, I don't think, and none of the others will be. So, don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. I'll be doing an aftermath after this next episode, and don't forget to check out the new thing that they're doing after Deadliest Warrior. It's just a one-time thing. It's alternate endings. Gonna see what it was like if Hitler had won World War II, which would have been interesting. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later, and bye.